How often do you go to conferences and seminars? I was reading a stat the other day that said the average American watches 3 hours a day of TV. They play video games up to 20 hours a week. That's mostly dudes. And they eat fast food like 3 or 4 times a week. But if you ask them how often they go to a conference, they're like, oh, once a year. And I'm like, that, my friend, is why most people are broke. You have to invest in your own brain. It's simple logic. It's kind of like geometry. It's like, what's the quickest way between 2 points? A straight line. And think of that intellectually and financially. It's like, what's the quickest way to get what you want out of life? It's like, go directly towards it. So you got to ask yourself, is fast food contributing directly to the point that I want to be at health-wise? Financially, is TV, where you're the sucker being sold advertising, right? Most of the time. I mean, there's some decent TV, but the majority of it, what people watch, all right? Are you getting or going in a straight line toward what you want financially? It's simple. I was actually at the Clipper game yesterday. Basketball is also a game of geometry. The closer you are to the basket, for the most part, is the highest percentage shot you'll shoot. So, I'm like, why don't I live in a world where people go to a conference or seminar once a week? Why not? People play video games once a day. They eat McDonald's once a day. Why couldn't you and I live in a world where people go to stuff? Look, because conferences not only are a place to feed your brain, but it's also a social element to it. You get to be around like-minded people. That's where you're going to find. Somebody asked Joel Salatin at my last conference, what's the best way? It was a dude. He was like, what's the best way to find a good girlfriend, a good girl? And Joel Salatin said, go where good girls are. It's the same if you're a woman looking for a guy or whatever you're looking for. So conferences have a social element that is, most of the world is something that in insurance and financial terms, they call adverse selection. Adverse selection means the odds of that environment being positive are very low. So like if you meet, let's say your goal is to meet, a mathematician or a programmer, a computer programmer to run one of your businesses. Well, if you go to the beach, right? And where everybody's surfing, that's an area of adverse selection for computer programmers. There's not many there. You got to go hang out where, nerdy dudes hang out. So in life, people always ask me, like, dude, I don't meet any mentors. I don't meet anybody more advanced than me. I'm like, well, do you go to conferences and seminars? Last year, I went to the Berkshire Hathaway meeting, Warren Buffett's conference, 15,000 of the smartest investors in the world. The guy sitting next to me was one of the wealthiest men in Germany, and we just struck up a conversation. I wasn't doing anything special. I was literally sitting there, and he was sitting next to me, because instead of adverse selection, that's an environment of positive selection. So not only do you get to hear what people are talking about at conferences, but you also get to be around like-minded people, which if you see my TEDx talk on the law of 33%, that's the tricky thing. I was actually, Herman's here visiting, and I was talking to him, he was like, well, I'm in North Carolina. It's harder to find people who are above you, especially like Herman's more advanced in business. So you got to find, it gets harder and harder as you climb the ladder of success. But the simplest solution, I'm telling you, it's conferences. There's conference every day somewhere in the world. Get on a plane. Don't be lazy. Go directly, like I said, geometry, straight to what you want. And those are one of the better environments to find everything. Friends, business partners, JV partners, affiliates, marketing, employees, whatever you're looking for, mentors. So try to make it a habit to go to a conference once a month. I don't know how to give any simpler advice. If you saw my tweet the other day, I said, most people complicate their problems. That's a flaw in the human brain. People like to make the solution, the problem and the solution super complex. They're like, hey, Tai, how do I become more successful? I'm like, well, go to where more successful people are. Well, where is that? That's so hard. How do I find mentors? I contacted a guy, he never wrote me back. Like, I get all these emails all day, and I'm like, do you go to conferences? When's the last time you went? And they're like, 6 months ago. I'm like, well, what could be easier than buying a ticket where everybody there bought a ticket, meaning they're going to show up, they're going to be engaged. All those people you want to mentor you are on stage. Maybe you can, go to lunch with them, meet a friend of theirs, an assistant, and next thing you know, one thing leads to another. So don't be helpless. Remember what Martin Seligman, the great psychologist and sociologist, talk about. Learned helplessness is another disease in this modern world where people just want to throw their hands up and go, well, I can't do anything. I'm like, go to a conference. That's simple. I do one once in a while. I'm actually doing one this Sunday. I know that sounds like this video's promoting, but it's not. I know people are stupid. It'll be like, see, he's just saying this to promote his own conference. No, it's actually the inverse. I'm doing the conference because I go to conferences and I see the benefit, so I'm like, I'm gonna do some, so all the people that that I'm interested can be around me and I can meet new people and stuff like that. I don't do them for the money. We charge money because that's fair to do, because I got to pay a lot of money, you know, to get the hotels. But I definitely don't do it for the money, because other stuff I do in business makes more money. But I do them because I believe in them. And if you can't make my conference this Sunday, it's in Santa Monica, go to another one. I don't care. Just go to some. Make it a habit. 12 a year. 12 a year. And that's just lightweight. It's kind of like bodybuilding. You know, you ever been around big bodybuilder dudes, and when they're like bench pressing 500 pounds or whatever, they'll yell out, lightweight, lightweight. They're just tricking their brain into going. Everybody else in the gym is like pinned down under a 100-pound bench press, and these dudes are going, this is easy, this is easy. And that's what I feel like a conference is. When I tell people go once a month, they're like, oh man, that'd be so hard. I'd have to actually save up money and go to. I'm like, lightweight, man. It's lightweight to go once a month. If you were going once a week, maybe I'd pat you on the back, but once a month is lightweight. And people who lift lightweight in the gym, they never get the rewards that the people that really lift. So do it for your brain too. Don't just do it for your body. All right. So if you can make one of my conferences, check out my website. There's a link somewhere here if you want to come to mine. Mine's about sold out. I had to switch hotels because we sold the first one. We sold out in 2 days or 3 days. So if you can't make mine, go to another one, you know? So anyway, when's the last time you've been to a conference? Leave me a comment. And what's the best thing you ever learned at a conference? Best thing I ever learned at a conference? Well, that last Berkshire Hathaway conference I went to, man, I got to meet this guy in Germany. He flew me out. I didn't even realize this guy's like the Donald Trump of Germany. And I went and spoke at his office. He had like 500 people, employees, and he had me speak to all the CEOs of all his different companies. And what I learned on the way after I gave an 8-hour talk, he translated into German. It was kind of crazy. I walked, and he said, I'll walk you back to the hotel. And we walked back to the hotel. It was about a 45-minute walk. And this guy's been in business since he was 14. I think he's in his 60s. I don't know if he's a billionaire, but this guy's hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. And he gave me stuff that I remember as he was telling me, because he's in a similar business, education business. He was like, well, Tai, you should do it this way and this way. And I remember thinking, dude, I would have to spend 30 years of my life learning this. And this this guy just gave this to me for free, this mentor. You know, that's the greatest thing I ever took away. So what's something great you've taken away from a conference? And hopefully I'll see you Sunday.